Hello, hello. Z255, I'm gonna assume you're a gummy. Hey, cab fare. Oh, fuck. Nice. Very good. What have we got here? Tier 1, Tier 1, Tier 1. Do. Alright. Let me just get you all a link. Can we kiss by the well of sacrifice? Yes, of course. Nice tune to wake up to. Hello, Striker. 9 minutes. What do we want? 500k. Mic needs to be louder. Okay. Can I get a confirmation from somebody else in the chat? If that's the case. Quiet. Fuck. How about I turn the music down and you turn me up? How does that work? Because I don't think I can turn my mic up any louder. Actually, no, I can, but let me know if this is alright or not. You don't know how tempting it is for me to teleport him in. Alright. The music is so quiet now. Alright, so I'll put the music up a little. Yeah, yeah. This is a nice in-between, hopefully. $801. What's everyone doing? What do we got? 77 people on. Where's everyone at? There's a few people in the AFK penis at home? Is Ermin? Is it Barrows? Yes, we have Vamp with no clothes on. Oh, watching the stream? Okay. Need 80. Oh, you must prestige. I see. Damn, nice amulet of glory, bro. But. Oh, I got no hun left. See if we get some people here. Somebody came in. Oh, it's hardcore trying to fucking catch up. It's your boy Stinky Finger here to harass you about when do we get tree patches, aka flop the Emerald Donor Zone herb patches, replace them with tree. Okay, thanks. Yeah, good question. I mean, tree patches are definitely, you know, on the list of things that need to be done. I can speak to the roadmap a bit later when we're a bit further in. Where are we at? Got 11 people in. Pretty sure I'm not muted. I think fucking Striker's speakers got turned off. Oh, my audio's muted. Fucking classic. Alright. Well, you know what? What am I gonna do? Let's get a pickaxe. Get a defender. Let's do some mining. Where's my terror bird pit? My yak. Does this count as advertising of products? Alright. Call the yak. Oh, I'm still waking up. Let's have a look at the questions, huh? So Ghoul asked a bunch of them. Who's Rick Turp? What the hell? Will there be further progression opportunities beyond P10 level? Beyond P10 120 down the line, like an expansion to the prestige cap. By the way, I haven't prepared at all for any of these questions, so it's just gonna, you know, be off the cuff. You're gonna get some of my, like, unfiltered brain words. Beyond P10 120. Well, it's quite a sensitive thing, you know? Expanding past P10. I guess if we think about the game and where it should be in the end state, P10 is only for Messos at the moment, and I think P10 takes a really long time to max your account, as is, without, you know, well, it just takes a lot of time, you know, you can spend a lot of time playing and get it done within a short amount of, like, IRL time, you know, like, within, I mean, you wouldn't even be able to max within, you know, we're talking like a 6-month time period, I think, for a P10 Mesa, or more, and that's with a lot of gameplay. Otherwise, I think there's actually quite a lot of game to play there in terms of leveling your skills. I think the thing that people might appreciate more is actually just expansions to content, whether that be in-game or not, right? So when you are prestiging, have more interesting content to go through on the way. say you're level 70, like, cool, you can go and kill barrows. What else can you do right now? Not so much. So there could be more bosses added there, and I definitely plan to. And maybe I can kind of flow this into what the current roadmap is in the, well, I mean, short or long term is all just a matter of perspective, right? I guess it's the sort of short term for me. Right now, I guess you can see the armor that I'm wearing. One of the #1 things I'm trying to do is get this fucking raid out. I don't know if it exists in the game right now. No, it doesn't. It's still just in the beta world. #1, finish off the raids, which is a pretty crucial bit of in-game content, and provide a way for like fighter spec, combat spec that is, players to be able to get some in-game gear, because currently we already have ranger and major gear. And kind of just like polish up the raid so that it can stand on its own pretty well. Because as it stands right now, it's a bit weird in how, you know, in OSRS raids you expect that you go through each room, maybe you get some supplies, but at the end there's the loot, right? There's the purple light over the chest, there's the glowing fucking TOA fire by the chest. So I do want to do something like that. Of course, along with that, since you won't be getting loot on the kill of the first boss or the second boss, for example, you know, the difficulty of it will need to be balanced a bit, so don't worry about that. But yeah, so fuck, where was I? Roadmap. Melee raid, well, melee raid room. Finish off the raid. Let that be a piece of content that I can leave as is. Maybe tune the difficulty a bit more. Have it scale nicely and, you know, be something that is completable throughout a range of different skill levels and gear levels. But then, like what I was getting to before with filling out the game so that, you know, you don't necessarily want higher prestige caps or higher than level 120, but instead there are things to go through when you do prestige, like, hey, we'll have Serb, we'll have Zora, we'll have some alternatives to the, like, you know, Sapphire Beast, Emerald Beast, whatever. I've already got some Drakes. Help Gunru. Actually, I can kind of show it. Let me just go over here. You can see we have these Drakes. I shouldn't have spawned them up here. Let me get my potato out. Okay. Down. Let's go into the water, or over here. This is my trusty little area where I spawn a bunch of random shit. Cool, so you can see the superior version. Then there's the emerald one. You get the picture, you know? There's... The idea is that these are like a harder NPC to kill than the Dark Beast variants. And include some, like, you know, single, easily managed mechanics that will help you get into bossing a bit more. But also kind of fill out the content like I was mentioning before. So we'll have more bosses, like I said, Serb, Zora. You know, we'll have the Drakes. Maybe we'll bring in the Wildy bosses or the Chambers Zarek bosses. That is the plan. So, very long-winded answer to the question, will there be further progression opportunities beyond P10 level 120 down the line? The plan is not to increase the prestige cap or the level cap, but instead fill out the content so that you can enjoy your you know, your walk along the path a bit more, with a bit more variance. Okay, so I saw a question in the chat. Morsik said, what armor set is that? So this is going to be the ignore the icons in here, they need a bit of work. This is like the melee armor set. This is where we it goes with the Titan Forge mole that we have here. There's the Titan Forged helmet, chest guard, leg guards, the maul, um, the back thing, which I actually don't know how to pronounce, but it will be coming from the third boss fight in the raid. Cabfair asks, is there any prospect of balancing mage damage compared to melee and range? Definitely. So, actually, a perfect segue into deeper into the roadmap. So, you know, Cerbzora Drakes, raids. I do want to overhaul mage. There have been a lot of suggestions on how to make it actually feel as varied as melee. P.S. There's some patches coming out for melee soon, which will make it feel pretty cool. You know, the mage spec doesn't feel so glamorous right now. You know, range, you got a lot of different effects when you use the different weapons, which is cool. We can expand on it more. I think there's a lot of potential in the range spec to continue branching out with more mechanics, but more so with magic, you know, with healing, buffs, debuffs. You know, they built curses into you know, the normal spellbook. Those could be cool. You know, necromancy, why not have an army of pits following you? You know, I'm speaking out my ass right now, but all of this is possible. So I plan to, I've got on my list over here, my pre-group Iron Man list. One of them is a mage overhaul. Another one is more variation to the range pick, like I was mentioning before. But mage will be the big one, but then those other bosses as well, and drakes and whatnot. And then, you know, what I don't have written down is a bunch of other quality of life things. I kind of want Group Iron Man to be this nice big milestone where we can get a lot of people coming in with a lot of hype. I think it's a good opportunity for that. What tier is this armor? It is 105 legendary at this point. So, better than Onyx? Because Onyx is epic 105? Maybe this goes up to 110? I'm not sure. But yeah, I would have liked to add a lot more to Mage already, but it's a lot of work, so we really got to figure it out. But I do think it's one of the crucial things for Group Iron Man. You know, if you think, what are the core gameplay things that are missing that would make Group Iron Man an amazing experience for a bunch of people coming into the game? I think a Mage overhaul is time like really well invested. Or it would make the game feel a lot more whole. So stop training Mage for now? No, definitely don't stop training Mage for now. Can you remove the 2x waves in the second room, just have a B1 wave? Ermi, maybe. That's going to be part of the whole thing that we do to rebalance the entire raid so that it's a bit more... what's the word? Accessible, I guess. Will their raid be soloable? I don't plan on balancing it specifically to be able to be soloed. It will be scaled with the number of people you have in the party, so the maximum difficulty at a 5-person raid. Probably going down to a 2-person raid, like two-person scale, like not for 1 person, but then even for 2 people, like it'll still be harder. It's not going to be like a linear scaling. I'm speaking too much and not drinking enough coffee, so I'm gonna sip on this for a bit. Nerd Burglar says, are you gonna add restrictions to Group Iron Man so people don't just drop 3 thieving ults and a 5-man gim? Am I gonna add restrictions? I don't plan to as it stands, but there is still a lot of ironing out of, you know, all of the kinks and figuring out all these finer details to be done before we get into implementation, before we get to marketing, before we get to release. So, you know, all of you know that Group Iron Man is coming now. I think it would be worth discussing. If people have strong feelings about it, I definitely want to hear them. My gut feeling as it stands right now is that if you want to pad your group with shit accounts that just fucking gather at thieving stalls, then go for it. I don't particularly think it's that destructive of a thing. It's the way that you and your group want to play. In the end, this is all just about creating frameworks for you to be able to have fun, right? All I'm going to be doing is providing the platform for you to play the way that you want to play, just like the rest of the game is designed. It's all about giving you choices to be able to, you know, pick a different path that appeals to you. My job is not necessarily to make the restrictions so fine-grained that, you know, you're going in the direction that I want. My job is to make sure that the different paths are as equally appealing as possible. You know, each of them be as viable as the next, so that you don't feel forced to go in a certain path because people around you are saying that's the meta. This is the most efficient way to do something. That's what I want to not do. Okay, I gotta scroll up a bit. I'm so bad at reading chat, holy shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm reading these all out of order. Joey says, in response to stop training a mage for now, train it more now so you're ready for the big change. I think that is more correct, yeah. You'll probably want your levels up. You know, mage as it stands, like, it's not terrible. It's not as well rounded out, sure. But like, it's not like it's the most painful thing to level up. In fact, it's probably the fastest to level up. Because the runes are pretty easy to get now with rune crafting. Who's this? Runes are pretty easy to get with rune crafting. You've got the tomes, you've got wands, and you've got the staves that boost up your damage, and you got the gem staves, and you know, that use the charges and all of that. It's not terrible. I think there are a lot of places you can AoE train. In fact, it's probably a pretty efficient way to get PVM tokens if you're a newer player, is to go mage, get ancient magics, get the first AoE spell at 62 smoke burst and 43 prayer, and go fucking kill some jellies or something, or whatever. Then you get your wealth collector. Anyway, but yes, it needs some work, that's for sure. But I wouldn't stop playing it. Oh, that's actually that's kind of exactly what Cab Fair said. Training mage ain't bad as it currently is. It just isn't OP. Can you get mystery box? Quick, run away. Deposit. Okay, Alright, I already answered the one if the raid would be soloable. How has New Zealand culture affected the design philosophy of August RSPS? That's an interesting question. The culture of New Zealand. Probably in many ways that I don't know of. It's probably something that is very much in my subconscious, you know, it's just part of the way that I think is because of me growing up in New Zealand. I would say all of my intentional, conscious design philosophy comes from my own professional career, where how can I sum that up? How do I sum up my design philosophy? This is not going to be eloquent in any way. This is just going to be brain words coming out unfiltered again. What do I think about when I'm designing content? There are a lot of people that play the game, and a lot of people from different backgrounds that enjoy different things from different games, and have come to this game for one reason or another. One of the core things that I try to do is stick to my original goals as much as possible of when I came into the project. What are those original goals? Well, first and foremost, I wanted to create a game that I want to play myself. I want to create a game that will last years. I want to create a game where it's exciting to play. You are rewarded for being at your computer and engaging with the game as much as possible. I want the game to provide players with a lot of choice for all the different paths that they want to go down, but also provide, you know, frameworks to help the players along the way so that they're not stunned by the choice paralysis, you know? And I think that's already a bit of a problem right now, where you spawn into the game and you're like, what the fuck do I do? The achievements were a thing that we brought in to try and help with that. I think we can guide players a bit better towards this towards this interface, so that they can, you know, see some of the things that you can take part in through the different levels. We can do a better job of that, but I think the thing that people align with a lot is, you know, I think the core thing about August that people like with the design is the variation in gameplay, which I think has come out in sparks in previous RuneScape private servers. And how... oh, voice crack. Oh shit, edit that out. Just joking. And how... you know, you currently go into RuneScape private servers and there are different game modes you can pick. And usually it's like, hey, you play the normal, like, fast as fuck mode, and, you know, you get no buffs. Or you play the really hard one and you get 5% drop rate increase or something, right? You know, this has existed already, you know, and then there's the Iron Man and the Ultimate Iron Man Hardcore, whatever. That adds variance to the gameplay, sure. But I tried to take that to the next level with August, and you know, on one hand, it's quite interesting, where, you know, you spawn into Tutorial Island and you're like, what the fuck is all of this? Slayer, Master, Gatherer, Artisan, Masochist, like, all of these different perks, what the fuck are these items? Shit, like, there's these combat spec people, like, I need to pick one, and you're kind of like, what do I do? I've gone so off topic with this, but I'm trying to take that, choice to the next level. And you know, you can see it as well in the prestiging. You have your choice of where you want to put your time in and gain mastery over the different skills, which will only get better with time as there's more content as you level through these, like I was speaking to before. with, you know, the more bosses being one, more bosses, more Slayer monsters in the earlier levels, you know, more boss mechanics for you to learn from. But back to design philosophy. I do my best to treat core issues with the game and not treat symptoms of the core issues. For example, one right now that we're wow, hello. Another one that we're facing into right now is actually your tutorial. Oh my god, he actually made that account. Tutorial locked Iron Man. One issue that we're facing into right now is with the Well of Sacrifice. A metagame has emerged of, well, actually, let's speak to the source of this. What's the core issue? Core issues here. Khan Baba will sell you this gel nib brick, and it costs 2 mil points. You can throw the nibbler into the well, and you can get a Zuck pit, and that's the best pit in the game, arguably. And that's going to cost you millions and millions of points. What does that mean? It means that you have to either farm a bunch of like higher end gear, in tier, in game fucking, you know what I mean, gear, and chuck it in the well. Or, well, actually what you're trying to do is farm the most amount of points in the smallest amount of time possible. And so, a symptom of this is that people will spend a lot of time at the silk store, and they will try their best to buy out the mystic thread in the shop. There's usually fucking 100,000 or something in here. This gets bought out every server reset. This is a symptom of the problem that getting points for the Well of Sacrifice currently sucks for anybody, you know, above this very entry level, or, you know, like tier 80 gear crafting for Infinity and Ranger and stuff level. And so me treating the symptom would be do what everybody asks for and make this an unlimited stock Mystic Thread shop, and make it so that, you know, you get more thread or less fine cloth, or balance the output of the silk store. But actually the core problem is that, well, why the fuck are people at the silk store? That's not fun. People feel forced to be at the silk store because it's the most efficient way for you to get points, and that sucks. So what I'm trying to do is make it so that getting these points sucks less. And so something that exists right now in the beta world is, from all item gathering, all item crafting, Slayer, bossing, any PVM, you have a chance to get certain items that you can passively stack up. They're a stackable item. You can trade them. You collect them, you can chuck them in the well for points. And it should be competitive with the Silk Store, not just in Well of Sacrifice point values, but also in how, hey, you're now released from the fucking Silk Store. You get to play the game now, and you don't feel like you're losing out on this piece of content. Hopefully that explains it. That took a while to explain, but yeah. Design philosophy, treat core issues, drill down into the, you know, the root cause of people's pain that makes people behave in certain ways. Second gorilla, go on. So he's got a Zuck pit, that's pretty good. So yeah, try and understand where people are actually coming from with the things that they're doing, and find the right solution for the game as a whole in the longer term. Not necessarily just appeal to what people feel right now because of what they happen to be, what they happen to feel forced to play with the current stage of the game. I'm rambling so fucking hard. I'm glad I put 2 hours up for this. So, um, other design philosophy. I guess one important thing, maybe you've noticed this, maybe you haven't, but I try to make every single place on the map have a reason. So you'll notice that it's impossible to get to the mainland. Some people have escaped. Uh, um, but like, you know, you can't get to Lumbridge, can't get to Varrock, whatever. One of the first things I did was make this fucking island in the middle of the sea. You'll notice that if you go into the world map, I don't know if you've seen this before, but you're actually right on the middle of the ocean. This is where August lives. And like, over... where is it? Maybe it's like over here is where all the raids rooms and shit live. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We're in the ocean. You can't access the mainland because one of these core things of making every place feel meaningful and have a purpose. You know, sometimes that purpose is, oh, here's a place you can go to teleport to places. You know, it doesn't need to be fucking profound. But at least, like, you know, you can walk around the island and it's not full of blank space. Like, you know, some RuneScape private servers will do their best to recreate old school RuneScape, which would mean that, hey, I need to add fucking Hans walking around Lumbridge. I gotta add all the goblins over here. What do the goblins drop? I gotta add the spiders. Oh shit, there's fishing spots over here. Gotta make sure you can fish trout and salmon and blah blah blah. What's inside this house? You know, you search this, you get an iron dagger or whatever. And we've barely even left Lumbridge. So I restricted the game from being able to, you know, you can't access these areas because I want every single place to have meaning. The thing that becomes more difficult now that the home area is filled out is, where do we grow into? You know, one of the things that I struggled with was, fuck, how do I expand this donator zone? Do I just like build an upper platform over the entire island? Probably not. That'd be pretty fucking ugly. But you know, that's a problem for me to figure out later. And in fact, something that we've kind of played around with is taking parts of the map, but just locking them off. In fact, if I go to Zulrah, where is that? It's over here. This is an example of where I've taken the existing map and I've blocked it off. So these don't exist in OSRS, but the idea is that, cool, when we get to Zulrah, you can actually get here, you can walk around, but you can't get out. But I will use the map to a certain extent, because it would be a shame not to. Where's Zulrah? Over here. Okay. I feel like I've rambled too long on that. There's probably more that goes into the designing of the game, but my thoughts are not well collected at this point. I want to get to other questions. Ermi says, I'm gonna speedrun this shit so I can get back to the responses in the Google form thing. Our raid's gonna be point-based, not just one kill, one loot. Yes, that's the plan. Your performance will be taken into account, there'll be some RNG, you get the loot at the end, but I'm still open to changing that. I'm not sure exactly what we want to do. What I would like is for the raid to be easily completable with one inventory of, you know, supplies. Maybe there's a shop in there like Tob, where you can stock up after, you know, the second room out of 3 or whatever. But yeah. Ermi says, because it's kind of weird right now, people with P2 to 3 get the same chance as somebody who's P10. That's not actually true. The more damage you do, the higher chance you have of getting a rare loot. What do we got? Some stuff about Group Iron Man, who's going to be in Joey's team. Emergent gameplay. Yes. That's exactly what we're talking about with the way the game's designed. Yeah. Let people create they're fun on top of the platform I provide, and I just need to create a good platform for that. People always gravitate towards the meta. Yes, they do. My YouTube chat is scuffed, and I can't scroll. Warford says, to be honest, some melee changes alone can make range/mage an actual choice compared to melee being king. Correct. We have that in the works. You'll hear about it soonish. Zenyte Beasts win. Zenyte Beasts win. Zenyte Beasts were just removed early on in the game because it's kind of shit gameplay. I gotta say, like, the Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, fucking Diamond, like, beasts that you go through, like, is very linear, very boring. Oh, they get more rare as you progress through. Like, I don't stand by that as good game design, but every game does need a bit of filler, you know? A bit of, like, the idea with the beasts and the gem gear is that this is gear that you go and create to fill the gaps in your existing gear from the main progression lines. What do I mean by main progression lines? I guess, like, cool, you craft your Infinity, or your Rangers, or your Justiciar, or your Blood Fury. You're at tier 80. The next main thing that you kind of want to go to is tier 90 God Wars. Oh, but I've crafted this gear. You know, I've been doing some Slayer because I've been progressing my account. I've got these shards. I've been killing Emerald Beasts. Cool, you can upgrade your gear a bit. Maybe get yourself an Emerald Halberd or, you know, whatever weapon. Let that be an upgrade for you. It fills the gap. Maybe you're using a Grazi Rapier or whatever. And then you ideally take part in God Wars. You go to the events. You team up with people, which I want to make sure that people can do. This is another pre-group Iron Man thing, is like group instancing within your own clan or group or whatever, so that you can access this content, you can play with your friends, you can upgrade your gear to that tier 90, but you don't feel like you have to go and craft full Sapphire and craft full Emerald and full Ruby to progress your gear. And, you know, that's the way that it's gone because, you know, I shipped a game with, I drew a line at what I would develop and what I would not develop pre-release because there was a lot of want for the game to be released. You know, whether that was a good decision or not, that's an entirely separate discussion. But the intention is that this gym gear is not the main progression. So the question was, Zenyte Beasts win? Well, Zenyte Beasts being a tier 110 thing that would immediately be stronger than the Raids gear, I'm not adding that into the game. Maybe one day though, you know, maybe the raid ends up being a higher tier. I don't know. Maybe you add a second raid, and then hey, cool, you've got tier 120. Hey, what's something that we can use to fill the gap? Maybe the Zenyte Beasts and the Zenyte Drakes and other bosses that come in the middle. That's probably where Serb and Zora are going to be sitting in those higher tiers, maybe? I don't know. Don't take my word for that, we haven't figured that out yet. Okay, what do you think makes a server last for years? Is it something you can truly control? I think control is not the word I would use there. Is having a server that lasts for years something that I can contribute to meaningfully and give it a good chance? Yes. How do you do that? Making good choices that don't treat symptoms, that treat core problems with the game, by having a clear vision of where you want the game to be with good reason for each of the choices, you know, in the longer term. I think that's important. I think transparency with the community is very important. That's why I do these things, and I just fucking YOLO speak about whatever you guys want to know. I don't think I have any secrets here. I mean, you know, some drop rates are secrets. Obviously, certain things are sensitive information, but I try to be as transparent as possible, and I think people appreciate that. What else do I do? Try to not take the piss with monetization. You know, I think we all know of the, you know, I guess it's safe to say hundreds of RuneScape private servers over the years that have just absolutely taken the piss. They take a leaked source of a RuneScape private server that was successful for whatever reason. They, like, you know, change the name to whatever they want. They release it. Maybe they change some colors for things. They over-texture the fuck out of every model. And then they make it so that you can buy this stupid item for $500, $1,000. I think that's a big part of, you know, monetization is a very sensitive topic that I think is important when it comes to building a game that will last a long time. And, you know, we can argue about whether the current monetization of August is good or not in the longer term. Obviously, well, I don't know. It's not obvious, actually. You know, from the outset of the game, I thought that I would never add these mystery boxes. I didn't think that I would give the ability to purchase these crates, which can give you, you know, tradable gear in the game. But alas, what I learned through developing this and being transparent with the community is that the majority of people don't mind so much, and they don't mind more than I don't mind. So I found a middle ground where I want to make sure that, well, you'll notice that this goes up to Ruby, right? And you know that there's Diamond, and there's Dragonstone, and there's Onyx. And then after that, there's the God Wars items, which are the legendary tier 90, and there's the Raids gear. You know, you can't buy those specifically, and I won't be releasing those. But, you know, I found a middle ground between my own expectations of what would be appropriate and what other people found to be appropriate. And in reality, like, servers need money to run. And so this was a move that I made so that I can continue to run this for the years, like what this question is asking about. Do I have control over this lasting years? I would say I have a big part to play in it, in the decisions that I make, in the content that I put out, in the effort that I put in, and money that I invest into marketing and communicating with players in the community and outside of this existing community to grow it. I think whether people want to play the game or not, you know, there are factors in there that I do not control, like what's the latest hype game? Diablo 4 comes out. August players take a dip. Understandably. I played Diablo 4 as well. A lot of people did. You know, Ashes of Creation will come out one day. A lot of people will jump to that because everybody wants to play the new game. It's the new thing. You know, we'll roll with the punches. We'll do our best to make sure that, you know, I'm not releasing gimmicky bullshit at the same time as some big AAA studio fucking releases a big new game just to get players coming in. You know, I'll stick to the core design philosophy. I'll try and make a game that's fun to play, and I'll do my best, and that's all I can do. I think. And if you guys think that there are more things that can go into making a server last for years, I mean, I'm all ears. I'd love for that to happen, for that to be the case. Choice paralysis, that hits home. A lot of players ask for a beginner's guide. Any ideas on expanding the tutorial to cover some basic concepts like Slayer, Master, Location, Crafting, Teleporter Location? That's a funny one. I lost the fucking question. Oh god, where am I? Right, expanding the tutorial. This is a sensitive thing because I mean, I myself also just spacebar through the tutorial of all the RuneScape private servers that I ever go to. I don't know if that's because that's just the way that it is and everybody wants to get into the game straight away, or if that is because the tutorials suck. I would like to think that onboarding into the game could be improved and not in the tutorial. Honestly, the achievements were meant to be a bit of an onboarding and point you towards the different pieces of content like you've spoken about, like, you know, hey, get a Slayer task and whatever, and maybe we can expand that a bit more. You know, we can use the pointing arrows. I don't know, it's kind of hard. I don't think it's as simple as expanding tutorial island, because that will make people, potentially, it'll make a lot of people, I'm pretty confident about this, fucking piss off from the game straight away if they have to spend longer than 5 minutes on a tutorial. People get stuck as it is and get frustrated with it. But, you know, this is just my outsider perspective, seeing people struggle with the island and get angry at it and whatever. Okay. I'm falling behind so bad on these questions. One thing I like about August so far is that it found a more creative formula for fun. Better than open loot boxes, do PvP, gamble with other players, zero custom bosses over and over. Yes. Good. Thank you. That is the idea, and I can do better, obviously. Any plans for expanded UI/RuneLite integrations? Yes, RuneLite will come one day. It will be post-group Iron Man. It's a bit of work for various reasons. I can talk about that more later, but I'm gonna move through this. RuneLite, yes, in the future. Design that combats fear of missing out is very important. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, you want people to have multiple different paths where they play it because they want to, not because everybody else is, because it's the most efficient way to do things. Yeah, but it's really fucking hard to balance things that way. People should want to play out of an anticipation of good things, not a fear that causes them to try to avoid bad outcomes. Yes. Can you explain the reason the Abyssal Whip, that's 1 out of 200 on the drop table for demons, but people usually get it around 900 to 2400 KC? Can I explain that? Yes. Slayer. Where are they? Here. There are 3 items on this table. I mean, I have plus 53.5%, you know, let's say this is 1 out of 200. You have 1 out of 200 chance to roll on this table. You have 1 out of 3 to hit the Abbey Whip. So it's kind of more like 1 out of 600, depending on your drop rate, of course. And then RNG kicks in. Some people go dry, some people do not. It's as simple as that. Same reason why some people got an Arum Pit at 10 KC, some people at 500, 5,000, and then some people go up to 15,000, 20,000. It's just the way that a random number generator works. It is the nature of the game. It is so rare to even have a world map that works. Well, correct. And the world map for August does not work. And one day I would like that to work. If I double click around about here, I should be... Oh, cool, I'm embarrassed. Sweet. Other plans to add class perks to some of the QOL features, like auto-create unfinished potions with skilling tokens at Cake Mix, to also create the extra unfinished potions that, e.g. a Meso would naturally have created. No. No. The auto-creating of potions, the auto-cleaning of herbs, that is a convenience feature that you can opt into. If you want to, well, this is my current opinion. Obviously, I'm open to hearing from other people. If you can convince me that it's a good idea, then fucking go for it. But I think it kind of takes away from the gameplay to have it so that you just, you know, like, I don't think it makes sense for that to happen. I think for you to reap the benefits of your class perks, you need to actually do the content. And these quality of life things, like him mixing your potions for you, is bypassing the content. And so for that to benefit from your class perks, I think feels a bit off. Will anything interesting be happening in August on August? Good question. I would like that. Okay. August monetization is fine. You should look into setting up a Patreon for some extra cash, maybe. I have no idea about how Patreon works. Perhaps? I don't think people would really be into that because you're not rewarded in game for it. But fucking, I'm all ears. Sure. I can't say we're making a whole lot of money. So, sure, I'm open to the idea. To be honest, I think the membership tier should be buyable directly with money with a recurring credit card / Stripe subscription. I think that helps build longevity of monetization, and it helps people like me feel like I can set it and forget it and support the server every month. Similar to Patreon, and it helps the server improve its cash flow. Yes, that was the original idea, actually. But I heard through the grapevine that subscriptions are a big no-no, or were a big no-no for Jagex, and some server way back in the day got the big hammer from it, and I am just a little guy making a little game who is not capable of dealing with that. So I kept clear of it. Okay, all my shit just scrolled all the way to the bottom. I'm not going to scroll up again because there's so many responses in the forum. Why is August named August, an autumn month, while you are named Winter, the season after August's season? Illuminati confirmed? Well, did you know that the 31st of August is the last day of winter in the southern hemisphere? Whoa. Okay, back to the Google Forms. How long have we been going for? Almost an hour. Cool. As for why August was called August, I don't know, it kind of sounded cool. I talked about it with a friend of mine, IRL, for a while before this became a thing. A couple of failed projects were called August, and it kind of just stuck. As for winter, that was also just made up. It happened to be a coincidence that it's the it's the season. The last day of August is the last day of winter. Pure coincidence. Okay. I remember you guys were discussing the possibility of the unused skills, as in construction, agility, hunter, being turned into new custom skills. Is this still the plan? Also, have you had anything in mind? Is it still the plan? I wouldn't necessarily say it is the plan, because that would mean that there is a plan which like revolves around this. The plan in general, I guess, for this is expand the game in ways that make sense, fill gaps that need filling in sensible ways. If that happens to be a new skill, or if that happens to be implementing fucking construction, then so be it. I'm not going to implement them the way that OSRS has done it. I don't particularly think that hunter or construction or agility are very engaging. I think the result of construction is pretty cool. I think the idea of catching NPCs is generally pretty cool. I think agility fucking sucks. So yeah, they are gaps. They just happen to have these icons on them right now. I'll fill them with whatever makes sense. And I'm open to what people think. Now that achievements are out, are leaderboards on the horizon? I'm referring to the early poll that was done. Right, let's have a look at that early poll. Good question. Gotta scroll up. Collection log, achievements, high scores, Olympian raid. So I guess this is referring to high scores. So achievements are out. Are they on the horizon? High scores. On the horizon? I would say they're past the horizon. The plan is for that to be a thing, 100%. I see that there's a lot of value in it. In terms of prioritization, I would say that high scores are less important than finishing the raid, than making mage a viable path, not viable, a path that people would want to go down with some variance, and making ranged a bit more interesting. I think it's less important than adding more mid to late game bosses like Serb and Zora and whatnot. I think it's less important than Group Iron Man. So sometime after that. But I'm trying to not look too far into what is past Group Iron Man until I get more into Group Iron Man. But I'm sure the most important things will become clear as we get there. That's the thing. You can plan as much as you fucking want. But at the end of the day, this game is such a crazy dynamic thing, and humans are so unpredictable, and the way that things pan out and the way that metas emerge, you know, there are hundreds of updates that I've done that I didn't expect I would have to do when I was developing it a year ago. So we'll see. What do you think about releasing gloves that are stronger than Barrow's gloves? Possibly other gem pieces like gloves, boots, amulets, rings. I think that yes, we need more glove slot items, yeah, 100%. For them to come from the gem line. I think we can be a bit more interesting than that. Perhaps there's a second line of NPCs where these can come from. Maybe it's more fitting that dragons get an expansion to the different NPCs you can kill and the mechanics that come from them. Right now they're just kind of meat sacks. I mean, I make this up right now. I'm just making this up right now, but like gloves and boots, you'd kind of think those are made of leather, right? I don't know. I'm open to ideas. I don't think upgrading the gem, I don't think pushing people towards the sapphire beasts and drakes and whatever more is necessary as it stands. I think we can be better than that. Will something be added to fill the ammo slot for when we're not using arrows and bolts? Maybe like custom blessings, gem blessings and such. Not gem blessings for the same reason. Something be added into the ammo slot. Yeah, I would love for that to happen. In fact, something I wanted to do pre-release that got deprioritized was auras. I think that's a really interesting thing. It's complex though. I'm sure there are downsides that would come with releasing something like a timed buff. I'm thinking like Dead Man Mode had those relics that you would